Have you ever had a moment of doubt when it comes to your faith? Because life just seems hard, it seems heavy. You've been praying, you've been fasting, you've been reading your scriptures, you've been showing up for Bible study, for the prayer calls, you've been doing all the things that you think you need to do to check off the box so that you can hear from the Most High and get your prayers answered. But what happens when you don't get an answer? That is what we're going to talk about today in today's manna. And it's all coming from an email that I received from one of our subscribers who gets the newsletter. Now, she says, I don't participate in the Bible study. I don't participate in the retreats and the things that you offer, but I read your manna every week. And I'm like, thank you. But the question that she asked is so genuine, spot on, and it has inspired me to not just email her and connect with her, but to be able to make a video about it because I bet you've had this question before. And I know that I have. And I'm not going to say it was years ago when I asked this question. I'm going to be really real. We're asking this question now, right? In the midst of a storm, in the midst of difficulties. And here's the question that Janice asked. And she said it was okay for me to use her name. I don't use her last name, but it's Janice. And she emailed me, hey, Natalie, great to hear from you. I read your manna every week. And you've been in this week or this month of dedication and why it's so important to dedicate our lives to the Father. And while I agree, here's my question that I've been wrestling with that brings tears to my eyes as I'm writing it. She says, how can you be dedicated to a God when you don't see your prayers being answered? How can you be dedicated to a God when you don't see your prayers being answered? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Have you ever wrestled with doubt and unbelief, and you're in a season where you've been praying, you've been doing all the things like I said before, but you're not getting your breakthrough? How do you dedicate yourself to that God? That's really what Janice is asking. And I think it's a legitimate question. How do we do it? In other words, how do we hold on to our faith when we don't see things working out? How do we hold on to belief when we've been praying the same prayer for 20 years and the answer hasn't come? Like the deliverance hasn't happened. Maybe it's that child who's on drugs and you've been praying for them to be delivered, released, but yet now they're back on it and it's worse than ever. How do you hold on to your faith? Or you've been praying for that loved one to be healed from that illness that has kept them paralyzed and bedbound, and they're only 20 and 30 years old and they've been living their life like this for the past 30 years. That's all of their life. How do you hold on to that? Or when your money is funny and you got a job and you're still thinking about bankruptcy, the bills are still coming, how do you hold on to that? Or that relationship that you have held so desperately, you see it dwindling apart, and now you're talking about divorce and y'all ain't even married. These are real things. These are real situations that people are experiencing. It's not some movie, it's not some book, it's people's real life. But yet, all of these people have one thing in common: they all believe in the Most High, they all pray, they all journal, they all read their scriptures, they all faithfully walk with the Most High. And yet, their deepest desires have not been answered. And so, if that's you, if this is resonating with you, there are three things that I want you to do. There are three things that I believe that we can do to hold on to our faith so that when life becomes difficult, that we don't waver, but instead we cling to the Father. So, what are those three things? So, I had to write these three things down because I wanted to remember. It's not what I always say, which I always talk about prayer and journaling and reading the scriptures. Those are things that you are automatically going to do. But when the heat is turned up, these three things I want you to even be more intentional about. Now, here's the disclaimer. I'm speaking from my experience. These are things that I do. These are things that have worked for me. They may not work for you, but I am attempting to encourage you on this journey, just like I did Janice, that while life hurts, I get it, we still have to stay connected to the Father. And so be open to trying these things out versus saying that doesn't work. Because I guarantee you, if we say it doesn't work, then it won't work. But be willing to attempt to keep connecting to the Father so that you build your belief system and you continue to walk by faith. Because that, in the end of the day, is what it's going to take. So, what are the three things? Number one is lament honestly, pour out your heart to the Most High. Don't do some fluffy prayer. Don't do some well scripted prayer. Pour out your heart. Lament, cry, scream, holler. Do whatever it is that's going to release those emotions because guess what? The Father can take it. So tell the Father that it hurts. Tell him that I don't understand what's happening. I know what your word says, but I'm not experiencing it in my life in this particular situation. So tell him honestly what you're feeling and end with the same thing that Yahusha did in the Garden of Gethsemane. He was like, take this cup from me, but if not, then let your will be done because I'm going to trust you through it all. But have that honest lamenting, pour it out. And the second, thank the Most High for what He's already done. Thank the Most High for what He's already done. I know life hurts. I know you're not seeing the answers. I know it feels heavy, but thank Him for what He's already done. He's giving you the gift of life. There is some good in that life. There's some good in your day. There's something good. You have these blessings, but what we're focused on is everything that's not working, that one thing that is our heart's desire that is not happening. That's what we focus on. But now flip the script and be intentional about thanking Him for what is working. Thanking Him for His grace and His mercy and His strength. Thanking Him for the prayers that have been answered. Thanking Him for giving you the strength to endure this stormy season. Thank Him on purpose. And then the last thing is, and this is really important, lean on faithful people. Lean on faithful people so that you know you're not alone. Many times when we're in a stormy season and our prayers aren't being answered and the heat is turned up and we feel ourselves wavering, being tossed back and forth, we feel it, we experience it. What we tend to do is isolate. What we tend to do is withdraw or put up a shield, put on a mask, and act like everything is well. But our hearts are falling apart. We're breaking inside, and we want to just be left alone. That is what you don't do. But what you do instead is you lean into your faith community. You find that small group of people that you can trust, that you can confide in, that are literally going to uplift you and pray for you and keep you before the Father. And they're going to pour into you what thus says Yahuwah, your Father. And they're going to encourage you and strengthen you. And most importantly, it's going to be a distraction. So that instead of you having this narrow vision of what's not working right and the prayer that haven't been answered, they're going to help you open your eyes to see that there's so much to be thankful for, that the Most High is trustworthy, even if life doesn't feel good right now. When you do these three things, it helps build your belief and it feeds your faith so that you can then take the next step. Just the next one, not 10 steps ahead, just the next one. And then rinse and repeat. Pour it out, thank Him for His blessings, and lean into the community. Then take the next step. And then rinse and repeat. Pour it out, thank Him for the blessings, lean into the community. Rinse and repeat. That's how you keep going and you cling to your faith when life hurts and those prayers aren't answered. You dedicate yourself to the process of walking out your faith. And if you don't give up, in due time, you will receive your reward. And the reward may not be that that child is off drugs. The reward may not be that the relationship works out. The reward may not be that the family member is healed. The reward may be shalom in the midst of it all. Joy, that unsearchable joy that nothing in this world can take away. It may be believing in His word so much that it feeds your faith and encourages your soul in the midst of the storm. Because you see, Yahuwah, He is our reward. And Yahusha, His son, proved that in the Garden of Gethsemane. Because He received His reward. He followed through on that hard assignment to be our sacrifice, to die on the cross. But then the Most High rose Him from the dead, and He was able to go minister to His disciples. And now He sits at the right hand of the Father, praying for us, what? Not to give up. That is the reward. So if you're like our sister Janice, and what did she say? How can you be dedicated to a God when you don't see your prayers being answered? Take those 3 steps, and that will show you how you can be dedicated to Him, because He is dedicated to us, even when life hurts. And I would say, especially when life hurts, that He promises never to leave us nor forsake us. He promised to be our refuge and ever-present help in times of trouble. Will we take Him up on that promise and continue to believe even when it's hard? What a wonderful way to end this dedication month. What a wonderful way to end this calendar year. Because as we move into the next month, which happens to be in 2026, we can start to look at living out our faith in bolder, different ways so that we experience an entirely different level of power and trust in the Most High. I hope this blesses you. Send me a comment, send me an email. If you've got questions you want me to answer, hey, maybe Janice has started something. Send it to me and we'll share the answer so that we can all be blessed and know that we are not on this journey alone. We have the Most High, and then we also have our faith community. Be blessed, my sister.